In the annals of history, few civilizations wielded death with such calculated precision as ancient Rome. For them, death was not always the grim consequence of crime. It was often the meticulously prescribed punishment. This era saw capital punishment as a legal, frequent, and utterly undeniable aspect of state control. It was more than mere retribution. Capital punishment was a carefully crafted instrument, designed not simply to end lives, but to project absolute power and enforce unwavering control over a vast empire. The Roman state understood the potent language of fear. Roman law, often lauded for its sophistication, possessed a stark and chilling core objective. Its primary purpose was not to protect the individual citizen, but rather to safeguard and consolidate the power of the state. This legal framework was a shield for the powerful. Justice, as we understand it today, was a secondary concern. The mechanisms of Roman law operated largely independent of any popular consent, demonstrating a chilling disregard for the individual. It served as an iron fist, cloaked in legal decree. Fear, raw and unyielding, was the state's most effective tool for maintaining order and loyalty. Every public execution, every gruesome display was a deliberate message. These acts of terror were meticulously calculated to deter dissent and instill obedience. Death itself became the ultimate declaration from the state. It was a final, irrefutable statement of authority, broadcast to every citizen and every conquered subject alike. The message was clear: defy Rome and face its terrifying wrath. The ingenuity of Roman cruelty knew few bounds when it came to capital punishment. Each method was conceived not just to kill, but to inflict profound suffering, to demoralize, and to deliver an unequivocal warning. These were not swift ends, but agonizing spectacles. Perhaps the most infamous Roman execution, crucifixion, was a slow, public, and intentional spectacle of agony. It was not merely a way to kill. It was a carefully orchestrated act of psychological warfare against the populace. Victims were hoisted, often naked, to suffer unimaginable torment. The condemned could endure for days, their bodies racked by pain, dehydration, and exhaustion. Every breath was a struggle, every muscle spasm a fresh wave of agony. This protracted suffering was not an accidental byproduct. It was central to the punishment's design. Crucifixion's primary goal extended beyond the individual. Its towering visibility served as a grim billboard, an inescapable warning to anyone contemplating defiance or rebellion against Roman authority. It was a public lesson etched in blood and despair. Another horrifying fate awaited those sentenced to the beasts of the arena. Criminals were sent into the vast amphitheaters, utterly unarmed and defenseless. They faced ferocious predators like lions, bears, and leopards, often starved to enhance their aggression. The crowd gathered in anticipation, cheering as the animals tore into their human prey. This gruesome spectacle was not just entertainment, it was a legally sanctioned act of carnage. The law not only permitted, but actively encouraged this barbaric display. The arena became a stage for state-sponsored horror, where human life was reduced to a mere plaything for ravenous beasts. The screams of the condemned mingled with the roars of the crowd, a chilling testament to Roman power and cruelty. Such deaths were a brutal affirmation of the state's absolute dominance. Roman officials frequently employed clubs and whips with an unbridled ferocity. This wasn't just a prelude to death. For many, the beating itself became the instrument of execution. There was no limit to the number of blows, no cessation of violence. The brutal beating continued relentlessly, tearing flesh, crushing bone, and shattering spirits. It only ceased when the victim succumbed entirely. The punishment ended not by official decree, but only when the body, utterly broken, stopped moving. This method ensured maximum pain and humiliation, transforming the condemned into a broken, lifeless husk. The lack of any formal end to the beating emphasized the absolute power of the executor and the utter worthlessness of the victim's life. it was a testament to suffering. For certain crimes, particularly those deemed blasphemous or a threat to public order, the punishment involved being burned alive. This agonizing method was carried out publicly, ensuring maximum impact on the terrified onlookers. The flames consumed more than just flesh. The deliberate infliction of pain was not merely an unavoidable side effect, it was the explicit objective of this execution. Every scream, every writhing movement served to reinforce the state's unyielding power and its capacity for vengeful justice. This was torment made visible. The stench of burning flesh, the crackle of flames, and the agonizing cries filled the air. These were sensory reminders to everyone witnessing that defying the state invited the most excruciating forms of demise. It was a stark warning, literally seared into the collective memory. A truly unique and horrifying punishment was reserved for the crime of patricide, the killing of one's own father. This specific transgression was considered so heinous that it demanded a death of unparalleled chaos and terror. It was a symbolic undoing of familial bonds. The condemned criminal was sewn into a leather sack, not alone, but with a bizarre and terrifying assortment of live animals. A dog, a rooster, a viper, and a monkey were often included, ensuring a terrifying struggle within the confines of the sack. The choice of animals itself was symbolic, each representing some aspect of depravity. The sack was then thrown into a river or the sea, ensuring a chaotic and terrifying death. The confined animals, panicked and lashing out, would tear at the criminal as they slowly drowned. It was a desperate, multi-layered torment, a macabre ballet of fear and death, specifically designed to punish the ultimate betrayal of family. Prisoners, often those captured in war or condemned for various offenses, faced another grim fate: forced combat in the arena. They were thrown into the gladiatorial games, but without the training, armor, or relative fairness afforded to professional gladiators. Their survival was pure chance. These unfortunate souls were often given inadequate weapons, or sometimes none at all, facing armed and experienced combatants or even other desperate prisoners. Their lives became a morbid lottery, decided by the fickle moods of the baying crowd and the caprice of their opponents. Each combat was a desperate struggle, intended only to end in death. This form of execution ensured a public spectacle of violence and helplessness. It demonstrated that human life, when deemed worthless by the state, could be extinguished for entertainment and as a display of dominance. It was a chilling reminder of who held the power of life and death. Roman law, in its cold efficiency, explicitly permitted and even sanctioned executions designed to last for hours or even days. The suffering was not merely prolonged, it was an integral, legally ratified component of the punishment. Mercy was a foreign concept. This meant that various forms of torment could be extended, ensuring maximum pain and despair before death finally offered release. The law itself provided the framework for this deliberate protraction of agony. It was cruelty enshrined in legal text. There was no legal requirement for swiftness or compassion in these punishments. The state's right to inflict prolonged suffering was absolute. These protracted deaths served as stark warnings, burning themselves into the collective memory of Roman citizens. When Rome spoke of justice, it often referred to the forceful assertion of its authority, the crushing of dissent, and the systematic reinforcement of its social hierarchy. The methods of capital punishment reveal this truth with shocking clarity. What Rome defined as justice, history now largely remembers as an era of calculated state terror. The sheer brutality and public nature of these executions were designed to instill fear and ensure absolute obedience to an unforgiving empire. This glimpse into the dark heart of Roman legal practice is just one of many brutal truths waiting to be uncovered. We invite you to explore further the often shocking realities of the ancient world.